Good morning, it's Tracy Shores, Walk With Me 2020, and I woke this morning with a ton of anxiety in my chest. And it's like, oh no, that's not supposed to come if it's a crazy morning. Maybe some starts, hitting you 9, 10, but it was like, it's 6:30 and I woke and my gerbils, my hamsters, my sister always says, they're already spinning in their hamster wheels. And I thought, oh goodness, just did some practical things, got some breakfast for little people, got them set up during their school. But I was still feeling this like Mount Everest to climb and not knowing how to climb it. But more than that, wanting to stay walking in peace, not wanting to lose relationship with God as I try to go towards the peak of this mountain. But I'm getting a head start. It's only about 9 o'clock and I'm about to get in the shower. And so that's, yay, victory. I was like, okay, I just had to drop to the floor and just pray and just kind of that fetal position and say, God, help me, please speak to me. And then I thought, okay, slow down. And I thought, just begin to say, thank you, Father, thank you, thank you. I was reminded of a verse that I love, and it's from Exodus 33:15. And basically, my translation is Moses is basically saying to God, you know what? If you don't go, I'm not going. And even my own translation is sort of like, guess what? Even more than that, if you don't go, I don't want to go. I don't even want to go. I think like the New Living Translation says, if you don't personally go with us, just leave us here. Leave us in this place. That's how I was feeling. As much as I wanted to attain to the peak of that mountain, I didn't want to have a miserable time getting there. That said, I had thinking last night, oh, maybe I'll do a video on this, but I was cleaning up my daughter's craft table, and she's 8 years old, and she's very crafty. And we can't throw anything out. A cap, the toilet paper rolls, the yogurt containers, and it stacks up. The Costco boxes, she has boxes, and it becomes she actually comes up with the most clever things. Puppet show, she just does really creative things. And so I was kind of trying to help her straighten it so it wasn't like out of control. She had already been in bed and I was just straightening up the table, but I was thinking, the Lord gave me this thought that, you really have to love something to be able to endure in the mess or be able to sustain in the mess. How about this? How about thriving in the mess? And that's what she does. And I thought, I've done a lot of things in my life and a lot of it hasn't lasted. But I've thought, okay, is this something that my heart is really, can endure in the mess? And indeed, there's quite a bit of it. But I believe my answer is yes, because it has always been my heart's desire to share and to encourage others to walk with God. I think that part of why I woke with that heavy anxiety this morning was that last night, I had kind of just a short conversation. We have thousands of these every day, right? And I was thinking about the morning that we lost Michael. And I was thinking there was how could there be? And maybe the enemy was trying to, it was originally my thought, and then it's like he piled on all the guilt and shame but I was like, how could have there been such a disconnect between what I was feeling and thinking and where Michael was, that we spent the morning in the backyard. We took this vine that was growing. He helped me get that out of this crepe myrtle tree. I said the sun was shining. I said, oh, it's such a beautiful morning. And then, an hour and a half later, he's not here. And so I kind of kept it in a box because I sometimes pull it out of the box because I want to understand, maybe to help others going forward, maybe to just grow in God, not to pretend that these things didn't happen, but maybe to have some understanding in what happened. But that said, I think I went to bed feeling like, man, how could have you missed it? How could have you been so out in outer space that you did not see what was happening? And obviously that breaks your heart. Then I'm sleeping and actually wake up to use the bathroom. And it's just interesting how I hear things, but because it's quiet at night, and I could just hear the wind chimes in the backyard. It was a windy night. And obviously that started me thinking again about the backyard in that morning. And anyway, I went to bed, and then I had a dream, which was not from the Lord. I love the dreams from the Lord, but this was just an anxiety dream. A man of many cares has many dreams. This was an anxiety dream. And in that dream, I was trying to reach Michael. He was trying to communicate with me on some sort of like voice recorded thing that was totally off. And like I woke thinking really the enemy was trying to make me feel both like a failure in the case of Michael and missing that, and also that these videos and things I do, that they're just a mess. Because I was at the door trying to get in and I couldn't get in. Some of these things led up to waking up at 6:30 in the morning and already feeling a heavy sense of defeat. And that's pretty scary when the day hasn't even started and you already feel defeated. So I thought, we need an intervention. God, please, intervention. That's what brought me to my knees upstairs praying. And then this picture of Moses. And then really one of my favorite verses is what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And so I want to say to you, no purpose, no mission, no life goal, nothing in 2020, as big as it seems, is bigger or better than walking with him. So thank you for joining me. Let's keep walking with him, and let's hold hands doing it. I'm out of the shower, I'm dressed, and I had this thought that, it's kind of like we think of the t-shirt, she did it. And I was thinking, how about she tried? And I think for me, when I was thinking about my life. And yesterday I was thinking, I'll do a little funny thing on like my resume, because the Lord had been, obviously now I'm 50 and I'm a widow and I haven't been in the traditional workforce for 18 years. And I was thinking about my resume, and even to work in a church, I was laughing because I was thinking my resume reads like, changed a ton of diapers, led the occasional Bible study, tried to keep my head above the water. She tried. So, but actually I have tried to do a whole bunch of things to serve God. And some silly, some I advanced in further. Probably one of the last ones I really had I had some steam in that, and it was called Grassroots Creation. And again, it was one of those things I was so excited about, creation, communicating that to young people. God made you and he loves you. And I wanted to do that through a kind of a hands-on backyard Sunday afternoon deal where we would have, on our farm, we'd have goats and chickens and all the things that we had, horses and cows, and we'd have like a dig for fossils, and we didn't have goats, but I enlisted friends, and a friend gave me two of her beautiful pygmy goats, and so it was growing. It never really got off the ground. Michael was so kind, he had one of his guys do this really cool logo for me, Grassroots Creation, and so I wanted it to be kind of like a backyard kids, like vacation Bible school, backyard kids vacation Bible school, but with like a Sunday afternoon and a creation theme, everything hands-on. And so I had the kids make signs. We had already started to have a coloring contest. We had cleaned out, we had a big long barn, and we had cleaned out one whole side that we were gonna make that a large part of our activities. We were gonna show Institute for Creation Research creation videos, but it was really going to be more that God made you and he loves you. Let everyone's theologies find their own way. But that's it, that was one. That's as far as it got. The funny thing is that we loved those goats. Actually, Michael even loved those goats. But we were letting a friend keep his limo out there. He had a side business driving a limo. And one day we looked out and the goats were out of the thing and they were on top of his limo. And it was like, okay, maybe it's time to get rid of the goats. And kind of the death of my dream. Again, resume, not she did it, she tried. I actually have this funny one, I would bust the kids' chops with it. I had this picture, kind of like in movies, you see the one prophet saying, in the increase of his government, there is no end. I was like, we need to be like street evangelists. Each of us I can't remember if I had like Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. I had some sayings, and I thought we'd wear like one would say Jesus, one would say is. So all 8 of us would pick a corner in our community, and we'd stand with those, and oh goodness, the kids would be like, Mom, no way, no way. And I'm like, oh, it'd be so much fun. It'd be like daring for Jesus. So anyway, I've always had ideas, and I have tried, and a lot of them haven't made it. I know there's a bunch more, but I would say there have been some diamonds in that. Like, we were financially really struggling. We didn't even know if we'd keep our house. I met this girl at church. She was supposed to be throwing her wedding at church, but there was a conflict. Someone else had the facility outside. And I said, you know, we're in the country, it's gorgeous. And the wedding was like 2 weeks away. And so the family came out and they thought, okay, we can make this work. But my husband and my kids were like, what? We're in no position right now to help host this wedding. As it turns out, like, everybody had a great time. It was an amazing wedding, and the family gifted us $500 and left us like $300 of food. It was just like, thank you, Jesus. This is what I do. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to me. You know what? The only way to really fail is to quit trying. I'm thinking God can do anything He wants, and He can have anything He wants. He's like the person on your list that's just really hard to buy a gift for because they have everything. It's not as much that you bring this perfect thing that is completed. She did it. It's more that you try, I feel like God is pleased. Like, the enemy wants to tell me, well, you failed. But God says, no, my child, I'm pleased that you have tried and tried and tried and tried. And that pleases me. In that, I've become closer to God. It's been my God story. I'm excited. I pray this encourages you, and I do hope you'll walk with me 2020. Blessings. Bye-bye.